What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about God of War Ragnarok's opening fight, opening boss fight. That is, if there is one. I guess the first thing to talk about is, is Thor versus Kratos going to be one of, if not the first things we get in the game? I mean, the ending of 2018 seems to indicate it. Could we skip over it? Is that legal? I don't honestly know. I would assume we're going to get a similar thing like they did in 2018 with that fight, and they do it with, again, Kratos versus Thor. So I guess I'm going into this video assuming that it's going to happen, that scene is going to happen within the first, let's say, hour or so, okay? Now the question I want to ask is, what's going to happen? Who's going to win? What's going to happen with that? The last video I made, I talked about Kratos being kind of depowered, right? Do you start him off? You probably do. You start him off at the same level he was at the end of 2018, but then, you got to do the God of War thing where you take away his powers and then he gets them back plus some as the game goes on. What exactly, are you going to do? And how does that happen? Now, you guys came up with some phenomenal ideas of using Odin's magic maybe to kind of weaken him, and he has to kind of go through the game to get it back. A lot of you guys even brought up Thor, and that's kind of what spun this video. One way of I don't know. I think there still has to be some sort of connection with it, right? I don't think Thor just beating Kratos in a hand-to-hand, weapon-to-weapon fight immediately makes Kratos 90% less powerful, strips him of his power. I don't know, unless Thor uses some sort of magical ability to do that. Now, you guys are way more versed in Norse mythology and God of War than I am, so I don't know the specifics there, so I'm just going to kind of throw around generalities, and I'll learn more as the months go on. Maybe that can happen. You guys can let me know if Thor even possesses the powers to do that. But some of you guys came up with great ideas of Thor, kicks Kratos, he beats him pretty badly, and Atreus needs to kind of step up to do something. I mean, look, factually what we have is we have the gameplay trailer, and we see them going through multiple areas. Some we've been through before. We're going to go to new areas, and, they're fine. Kratos doesn't die in the beginning, although I guess technically he couldn't come back, but realistically, it seems like everybody's fine. Now, again, do they skip over the Thor thing? Is it anticlimactic in the way that Thor, at the end that we see him in 2018, does he basically come to warn Kratos that this is it? You have 2 days to get lost, or I'm coming after you, and it's gonna I don't hate that idea. I don't think people are gonna overwhelmingly love it. Maybe they will. Maybe there's a God of War biasness there, and they'll and it's also up to your own personal opinion. I could see that happening to kind of go against the grain and go against what people are thinking. But again, I don't know. From a gaming perspective, you want to start off big. This is the second and final game of this Norse, mythology. I think you got to start. I'm not saying you start off with Poseidon like you did in 3 or something, but you got to do something, and I don't know, to skip over it. So again, there is an entire discussion of do they not even do that? Was that just to, again, could have just simply have been a door knock? Thor doesn't exactly knock on doors the way a normal person would, and he's just there to say hey, you done messed up, okay, in this game, and I am not going to let you do anything more with this, so get lost, and if you don't get lost, well, I'm going to come back. Maybe that could happen, but I'm going to assume they fight each other. I'm going to assume they fight each other more than once. And yes, that is taking a page from the first game, and you could say, is that too close? I would argue that well, let me just say this. I guess I would, I don't know if I would side with you, but I would say you absolutely have a good point to say, if you fight Thor twice, he beats you or he gets away. But, I would say that would be different. I guess you could do it differently than you did in the first game. The first game, I would say I don't know if you necessarily win the first fight. Maybe you can call it a draw. Maybe it's slightly edged one way or the other. But it's pretty even throughout. And maybe that's just to make the boss fight, a little bit longer. But with this one, you can, I don't think you just outright kill Thor in the first 15 minutes of the game. So I would imagine if you want to do something slightly different than the first game, but still close enough, you have them fight, but you have Thor really have the upper hand. He really takes him out. And then there's, of course, that discussion of well, would that happen? I know there's some people that have been saying online that Kratos has really been holding back. He's more powerful than anything that he's shown in 2018. He was doing that from a story perspective. He was doing that on purpose. I mean, I think that's fine. That's totally fair. But yet again, maybe he's met his match, with somebody like Thor. Now, I think you can probably make that argument more with someone like Odin, right? Where it's that may just be a task that's very, very powerful. He's very powerful, and it's just too tall of a task for Kratos to take him out. So maybe he gets exiled or something like that. But Thor, I do think eventually he's gonna die. I think he'll kill Thor at some point, but I don't think you would do it right in the beginning of the game, unless again maybe they go almost the God of War 3 route and just say, let's just start killing off gods. We got a game to get through. We got a lot of gods to cut through, and so let's just do it. So I don't know. I like the idea that people proposed that Kratos loses pretty significantly, and he almost needs to get saved by Atreus in order to keep him around, and that can unlock maybe a brand new side or level of Atreus's power, and then you go through the game like that. You keep going, and it wouldn't be Atreus kills Thor at that moment. It would almost be like Atreus kind of shoos him away, and then you kind of re-examine that relationship a little bit later when you meet him again. So I like that idea. I do. I think to have the game start and within the first couple hours to not have any boss fight whatsoever, on its own maybe isn't the worst thing of all time, but then you consider it's a God of War game, so immediately it's like, okay, well, yes, you have to do what's best for the story and the characters, but you do look at how these games operate. You have a boss in the beginning of the game. Like, it just always, what I mean? Like, again, it doesn't have to be the first 5 minutes, but like, you always do it. Couple that with the ending of 2018, which could very well just be the beginning of this game, and it's like, well, how do you ignore that? How do you, if you want to pretend that happened like the day before this game, like, so Thor comes, you see the electricity, he's got his hammer and stuff, and then like that was the day before, and then the day after is where this game Ragnarok starts. You start playing as Kratos. It's like, well, what happened yesterday? Like, you're just going to kind of ignore that. You're not going to show that. Again, was it just a warning? And it's like, well, you didn't exactly make it seem like a warning. You kind of made it seem like he was going to cause some destruction there. So, like, what exactly is going on? So they are in a pickle of sorts, but it's very easy to get through. You just fight them, and then you can do whatever you want from there. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Let me know what you think, like, the outcome of a fight between them could be. Any other theories, any other topics you guys want me to cover? I've been having a blast making these videos. You guys seem to really, really like them, so I will continue them. Try to do a new video once a week. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on so you know when all the videos go up, not just the God of War ones. If you guys want to follow me in any of my other places, I have Twitter, I have a second YouTube channel, and we also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.